anyone who's on the West Coast. This is our Get in Shape for Women Body Transformation webinar. So today we're going to go through a webinar about what it means to transform within the Get in Shape for Women model. And we also have a great panelist on with us, a current client, Mary Young, who's going to talk about her transformation story. But before I jump into the webinar, let me make just a quick introduction. My name is Lou DeFrancisco. I'm the president and COO of Get in Shape for Women. I work in the corporate office. We have currently 87 locations across the country that we support and help each studio to deliver on transformation to their clients. And so we primarily do this webinar for our owners as well as their staff. Could be a manager, could be a trainer, to talk about transformation and the 4 components and what that means. And then we also open it up to clients and or people, women that are thinking about becoming clients as well. So we have a wide range of potential people on this webinar, and so I'm going to go through a bunch of slides today. If you do have any questions, there's a questions section in your webinar control panel that you can see. You'll be able to type in questions. I'll be able to see them and read them. So please feel free. Anything that you have about transformation, weight training, cardio, nutrition, accountability, we'll be talking about all of it. I'm going to start with our purpose. Get in Shape for Women is in its 9th year, and we've done a lot of great things, and we still continue to do a lot of great things, but one of the things we're most proud of is our purpose and what drives us every single day. It's to empower women through body transformation. It's not to empower women through just great workouts or just nutrition coaching or just a fun place to work out. It's to empower women through body transformation. That's who we are. That's what we do. That's why we get up for work every morning and come into the studios and just, give ourselves a little pinch and say, wow, can't believe I get to work in a place like this where I get to focus on not just great workouts, not just nutrition, but everything that culminates in helping a woman transform her body. So my background, I've been in health and fitness for 12 years. Worked at traditional health club, ran personal training teams of personal trainers, massage therapists, acupuncture, physical therapy, all that fun stuff. I've been with Get in Shape for Women for 6 years now, and I just love this model because of the 4 components. And that's what we're going to do a lot of conversation about today and talk a lot about. It really wraps everything into one. We are a one-stop shop. There is no one else in the marketplace right now that does what we do, which is we do one thing, we try to do it better than anyone, that's transformation. And we're going to talk about that more, as well as we're going to get a chance to meet Mary Young today, who is a client who has lost 20 pounds in 5 sizes. And you'll be seeing more of Mary this month as we feature her on a lot of our marketing, postcards and posters in the studio, as well as on our website. And really looking forward to talking with Mary and hearing from her, how did she do it? And here's a quick quote from Mary. I feel better mentally and physically. I'm more energized and less stressed. My clothes fit better. Not only has this helped me, but my family benefits from my positive change and healthy journey. I want to be a positive, healthy role model for my 3 amazing children. That's awesome, man. That's an awesome quote. And as a father of 3 children, I applaud you. I know how important it is to be a good role model. And this is the awesome part of working at Get in Shape for Women and seeing the changes that happen. And it's not just physical. What ends up happening is that we're empowering these women through many different aspects of their lives by helping them transform. All right, so let's jump into this material. I've talked about the 4 components. If you are an owner or a manager or a trainer, You've obviously heard of these 4 components. You live it and breathe it every single day. I want to go over some basics at a high level. Again, if you have questions, type it into the question section. The focus is going to be on how do we achieve transformation by delivering these 4 components. So I'm going to keep it at a high level and try to continue to focus on the elements that are required for transformation without getting into too much detail. All right, weight training. We're going to start with weight training. Benefits of weight training. Let's start there. Benefits of weight training. We're going to build lean muscle. That's a good thing. That's one of the most important things for transformation. But what are some of the other benefits? We're going to build bone density. There's a ton of research that shows engaging in a weight training, in moving your body with weights or using your body weight helps to increase bone density. By building lean muscle and building bone density, there also is an effect of protecting against injury. We're also improving balance. We're going to be doing all kinds of exercises. Some of them are shown here as an example. And this is going to improve balance. It's also going to help decrease the risk of injury. The weight training that we do, we call it our workout of the week. Excuse me. I'm going to try to not cough. I've got a fighting a head cold, so apologize in advance. We use a workout of the week so that the workouts change every week. This is delivered to all the studios by the corporate office so that trainers, when they come into work, whatever day it happens to be, the workout's planned for them already. So this doesn't mean that trainers are not necessary. This means that trainers get to do more. This is a good thing, and when we talk to experienced trainers that have been in the industry for a while, they love this concept of the model, this piece of the model, because they've been through prescribing a workout plan for clients before, and that's not the key to success. It's a component to success, but it's not the key. And the job of the trainer is to make sure they're pushing, motivating the clients, making sure the client is using proper form throughout the exercise to push each client to his or her own ability level. And so you can see in this, even in this picture, it looks like we have a really good cross-section of potentially 30, 40, 50, 60-year-old women that are working out together. And that's the awesome part of this model, is that the trainer, one trainer to every 4 women that come in and work out, it's small group training. If I'm a trainer, I can change up a workout intensity, the intensity of the exercise based on which client is at that station. And I don't have to come up with a new workout. I just change the range and the intensity and or the weights that they're using. And so our trainers tend to love this piece because then it opens up their ability to talk about nutrition and really engage in the coaching aspect of what makes us special and unique. So I said earlier, the most important piece of weight training for our client is building lean muscle. How do we do that? We need to continually push our clients to failure. So that's a good thing. We don't want someone to go through, let's say we're using squats and they can do a set of squats while carrying on a conversation. That means we're not pushing them hard enough. We want to push them to failure because it's what you can't do, or it's what your body can't do that's going to change your body. It's not what you can do, if that makes sense. We want to continually push our bodies to their limits. Now, this is going to be different, again, for a 30-year-old woman that's in great shape versus the opposite end of the spectrum, a 70-year-old woman who has limited range of motion and is really has different goals as well and is looking to, that just has some other goals. So the benefits of weight training and building lean muscle, it's going to increase your resting metabolism. This is a good thing. So while you're working out, you're going to be burning calories. That's a good thing. Also, after your workout, as you build lean muscle, your body, your resting metabolism, that how many calories your body is burning while you're not working out or doing physical activity, your resting metabolism is going to be working at a higher level, meaning it's going to be burning more calories because you have more muscle on your frame. That's a good thing. Women don't need to worry about getting big and bulky. They don't have the same hormones that men do, so you're not going to get big and bulky. But you are going to build lean muscle, which is a good thing. You want that. So weight training, building lean muscle, which is going to increase our resting metabolism, which is going to be burning calories when we're not working out. In addition, obviously, this is the fun piece of the model. You get to work out with a trainer, you get to work out with other women, and it's a really fun experience. Similarly, cardio, our cardio that we do is called high-intensity interval training. And our high-intensity interval training has health benefits, just like our weight training. Primarily, they're cardiovascular health benefits. High-intensity interval training is the most efficient, effective way to burn calories and burn fat and get your heart in shape. You're going to decrease your resting heart rate. You're going to decrease your blood pressure. It's also going to increase your good cholesterol, your LDLs. So high-intensity interval training has a ton of benefits. Let me quickly explain it. An example of an interval training session is 60-second interval with 3 minutes of recovery. So if you're on a treadmill and the green light goes off and the 60-second timer's up there, it counts down from 60 to 1 to 0, and that's where you're going to push yourself as hard as you can. We use a rate of perceived exertion scale or a 1 to 10 scale. Same idea. You want to push yourself to a 9 or a 10 during that cardio interval, pushing yourself as hard as you can. Again, this is different for everyone. And that's the beauty, is that you can have 4 ladies at 4 different ability levels, 4 different age groups, 4 different goals, no matter what. They each can do an interval, and they're all going to benefit from it. And then after the 60 seconds, that 3-minute active recovery is not meant for you to completely stop and not move. Your body's still moving, but on a scale of 1 to 10, you're a 4 or a 5. You're still moving your body. You want your body to recover actively. Again, you're moving. You're not completely stopped. You want to try to recover completely so that then after that 3 minutes is up, you do another 60-second interval, you can give another 100% effort for those 60 seconds. And those intervals, high-intensity interval training, they're meant to be high intensity, they're meant to push yourself to your limits. That's what's going to get your heart in shape. That's also what's going to burn the most calories. So similar to weight training, cardio, while you're working out, you're going to be burning calories. That's a good thing. Obviously, you get the other benefits of weight training, the other benefits of cardio, of our high-intensity interval training, but there's an additional effect after you've done the high-intensity interval training where your metabolism, your body burning calories are going to stay at that elevated level and continue to burn calories for up to a couple hours after you've done your interval training. That's provided that you are doing interval training and not on there just thinking you are and kind of pushing hard. Again, this is where our trainers come into play, and their responsibility for coaching weight training, coaching cardio, is that we want to push each one of our clients to their ability level. But then there's also a responsibility for the clients. When they come in for their workouts, they need to be mentally focused and ready and engaged and listen to the trainer and be able to push themselves and know that, hey, I'm going to start 5 seconds later just to give myself a break. And then I'm going to, I'll end a little early because the trainer's not looking at me. Or maybe when I'm on the cardio piece, my trainer's doesn't have his eye on me right now, so I'll kind of dog it a little bit, take it easy. I'm kind of tired today. That's not going to get you towards your goal. Obviously, we're there for coaching and support, but there's also a level of responsibility that we expect from our clients to be engaged and active and working towards their goals. So that's the first 2 pieces of our transformation equation, weight training and cardio, really important. And we're going to talk about nutrition next. And this is where this is one of the keys to the program, but also one of the challenges. And this is what makes it unique. We have a nutrition blueprint that we want all of our clients to follow in order to lose weight. And here it is. These are the key components to our nutrition blueprint. Eat 6 times a day. Most times when we say this to new clients, like, oh yeah, that's not a problem. Or sometimes they will say, like, well, I usually eat 1 or 2 times a day. So eating 6 times a day regulates your metabolism and gets you on a regular schedule. Gets your body used to fueling itself every 2 to 3 hours. That's the approximate time frame. 100 grams of protein minimum per day. How do we do that? That's usually the questions that we get. How do I get in 100 grams of protein? Where sometimes they don't even know where to get protein from. And so we start at a really basic level. 100 grams of protein broken up over 6 meals a day, you're eating approximately somewhere between 15 and 20 grams of protein per meal. So that's, then we'll talk about the different types of protein, where you can get protein. 64 ounces of water per day minimum. Same thing, oftentimes we'll get the pushback, whoa, that's a lot of water. You want me to go to the bathroom all day? Like, how am I going to drink that much water? So we're awake approximately 18 hours, so it starts when you wake up, and it continues throughout the day consistently. At a minimum, you're drinking a glass of water with every meal, and that's 6 times right there. Glass when you get up in the morning, glass before you go to bed at night. Your body is you're going to teach your body to not just hold on to water. You're going to teach your body that the water is continually going to come, and so you don't have to hold on to water. That's going to give you that less bloated feeling. And it's also going to help your organs in your body function properly and process the food and the drink and whatever you're putting in your body. It's going to help you process it more efficiently. Overall, 1,300 to 1,600 calories per day. This is where we have the greatest impact in our clients' quote-unquote diet. I use the term diet meaning what they're eating every day, not a specific diet that they're going on. We don't like to use that term. 1,300 to 1,600 calories, typically our clients come in and they're consuming in the 2,500 to 3,000 calorie a day range, and they don't even know it. And so this is a big change in terms of pure numbers and making a change in your body, transforming your body initially. Because even though you're going to be burning calories through weight training and through cardio, the changing your body composition, adding more muscle, and burning fat is going to take time, and it's different for everyone's body. This is where you're going to see the immediate change. When women, our clients, lose weight in the first week, their first weigh-in, we weigh women in every week, and their first weigh-in, and they're down 3 pounds, 5 pounds, 7 pounds. It's not because they worked out so hard. Now, they may have worked out hard, which is great, but it's because they made a change to their nutrition. That's where they see the real benefit. This next one's an important one, and often, again, an area where we get a lot of pushback. No alcohol for 6 days. We give you 1 free day. So that 1 free day, you do whatever you want. There's no restrictions, no requirements. You do whatever you want. Because we know it is almost impossible to undo all the good that you've done in 6 days when you follow this nutrition blueprint. Every once in a while we get the, well, isn't a glass of wine good for me every night? I heard red wine is good for my heart. And there are some health benefits to red wine, but not when you're trying to lose weight. No alcohol, there's no benefit to alcohol when you're trying to transform your body, because when you put alcohol in your body, it's a foreign substance your body immediately looks at and tries to get rid of. It has to process the alcohol and get rid of it. So if it's working, all your internal organs, your kidney and your liver and your other organs are working on getting rid of the alcohol, what are those organs not doing? They're not processing the food, the calories that you're consuming while you're drinking. And that inhibits calorie burn and losing weight. It actually helps you to store more calories, which turn into fat. So we say no alcohol in 6 days while you're following a nutrition blueprint. So sometimes this can be hard to actually implement, but what I want to try to accomplish today is to make this easy to understand. This is what it takes: weight training, cardio, nutrition. Here's the keys to nutrition. And then lastly, I'll come back to the nutrition blueprint. Lastly is accountability. This is fourth component, where we say you need to be held accountable by someone other than yourself. This goes for all of us, including myself. We all need to be held accountable by someone other than ourselves. We can't just say, oh yeah, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to commit to it, this is what I'm going to do. And the way we hold our clients accountable is through weekly weigh-ins. We also have appointment-based workouts. The appointment-based workouts are obvious. They're so that you show up for your workouts. The weekly weigh-ins are so that we can have some good coaching conversations. We are fitness coaches. Sometimes we need to have a hard conversation to get you to change. And oftentimes it's the E word. The E word is the only thing getting in your way of immediate and lasting transformation. The E word is excuses. We all have them. Some are really good. At the end of the day, they're all excuses from getting in the way of us doing what we know is required in order to achieve transformation. Regular workouts, regular consistent workouts that include weight training, so you're building lean muscle, that include interval training, because that's the most efficient, effective way to get your heart in shape. That's what we see as critical. And nutrition, consistent nutrition, making sure that you're fueling your body properly to engage in this new workout regimen and to do whatever else in life you want to do. And at a minimum, this is what we require for transformation: working out 3 days a week in the Get in Shape for Women model, following a nutrition plan 6 days a week. That's it. No more, no less. Minimum 3 days a week working out, 6 days a week following a nutrition plan. Now, does that mean that just makes it really easy? No. And this is where we, as transformation coaches, whether you're a trainer or a manager, in the studio, this is where we have to help our clients overcome any of those E words, excuses that get in the way. And like I said, there's some great ones out there, meaning some real legit ones. But at the end of the day, if we understand, sorry to be flipping around, I went the wrong way. This is the equation. It's the sum of all parts. It's all 4 steps. If you take one out, it just doesn't work. Weight training. We can burn approximately 2,000 calories a week when we're engaged in a weight training program, coming in a minimum of 3 times a week. And really the key is building that lean muscle so that we're burning calories while we're at quote-unquote rest, meaning we're not working out. This is at work, at home, driving the kids around everywhere they need to go. Cardio, similarly, we can burn approximately 800 calories a week by engaging in high-intensity interval training, minimum of 3 times a week. This is the calories we're going to be burning working out, plus that afterburn effect of your body staying at a raised rate, burning more calories after the interval training. Nutrition, this is where we can make the biggest impact, especially immediately. This is where clients can make the biggest impact, and this is why it's so important that we get clients off to the right start. Right after we sign up a new client, they have super high expectations. We have super high expectations. It's our job to continually communicate daily sometimes to make sure that our clients are jumping on our nutrition bandwagon, that they're filling out their blueprint, and coming into the studio. I skipped over that quickly. This is what we're going to ask a new client to fill out. What are you going to eat for breakfast, for snack, for lunch, for snack, for dinner, and for snack? 6 meals. And you're going to eat whatever you write down here. This is what you're going to eat for your first 6 days. There isn't going to be, and the beauty of this is we take out all the questions of, what should I eat? What am I in the mood for? I don't have this in the house, I don't have that in the house. Maybe I'll run out here, run out there. It takes all of that out of the picture, because what are all they? They're all excuses. We're going to get them out of the way and say, this is what we're going to eat. It falls in line with 6 meals a day, 100 grams of protein, 64 ounces of water, 13 to 1,600 calories, no wine or alcohol, and then I get 1 free day. That's the key. If you can do that, guaranteed you're going to step on the scale and lose weight. And that's what we want to simplify. And the other beauty of it is we're not telling a client what to eat. We're going to have them write down what they would actually like to eat so that it's food that they would like. They're more likely to follow the program. Now the key to, after you fill out the blueprint, the next step for all of our clients is that they need to go to the grocery store and get their house prepared to have the food in there so that they're not stuck. They don't have that excuse of, I filled out my blueprint, but I didn't have any food in the house. All right, well, let's carry that to the next step. All right, so you got to get to the grocery store, get all the food, and then that also includes getting the bad food out of your house so you're not tempted to have a snack that's not a good quality snack. So when you add all these numbers up, you get to a total of 5,800 calories. What does that mean? So this is an approximate number. It can be way more actually for some of our clients, especially early on when new clients start. 1 pound of body fat is equal to 3,500 calories. So think about that the next time you're looking at some nutritional labels and looking at the calories. 3,500 calories is 1 pound of fat. So if we're burning or consuming less 5,800 calories, that's an average of 1 to 2 pounds per week that we could be losing. And when we say average, that's typically what we see is we see a larger weight loss initially, and then that weight loss gradually slows down over time. And as you get closer to your goal, the harder and harder you have to work. And what I mean by that is the workouts. They get more intense. You go up in weights, you increase range of motion. The workouts get harder. Intervals, interval training. You realize you're running faster. You're at a steeper incline. You're at a harder pace on the elliptical. Nutrition. You get more and more dialed in with nutrition. When you look back at your first couple blueprints, you're like, oh, wow, I've made a lot of tweaks and changes along the way to get even better at getting better quality food in my body, because that's going to continue to help me lose weight and transform and be overall really healthy. All right, so that's the key. Sum of all parts, all 4 steps. I want to get to Mary and talk to her for a minute. In the meantime, as I'm doing that, if you have any questions, again, feel free. You can type it into the questions section, and we'll take any questions. Doesn't matter what. No questions are off limits. Be happy to answer anything. And then if you also have questions for Mary, we'll be happy to ask Mary some questions as well. All right, Mary, can you hear me?
I can, yes.
All right. So thank you for being on and joining us today. I'm going to go back to your slide so everyone can just get a visual of how great you look after your transformation. So congratulations, 20 pounds and 5 dress sizes. How'd you do it?
Thank you. Yes, I decided to join Get in Shape for Women just basically to feel better. I was sore. I'm 45 years old, approaching 46, and for about 18 years, 15 to 18 years, I was feeling sore every day, my arms, my legs, my feet, and I basically got sick of hearing myself complain all the time. To my primary care physician would annually ask me, Mary, what kind of exercise are you doing? And basically I was embarrassed to say, well, I wasn't doing anything. I walked at work, and she said, well, your cholesterol is right, getting higher. You're getting older. It's harder to lose the weight. You need to start doing something. And I've joined gyms in the past when I was in my late teens and 20s. Get in Shape for Women is very different. It has such a specific approach to all the 4 components that you listed, and I've seen amazing results both physically and mentally. I do feel so much less stress, and overall my body, my arms and legs, as funny as that sounds, I just feel so much less pain within my system. And whether it's attributed to my nutrition, the nutrition component is huge, and I don't think I really realized what I was taking in on a daily basis and how frequently I was eating throughout the day. Even though I was eating those quote-unquote healthy granola bars, I probably eat 4 or 5 granola bars a day thinking, well, it's just a granola bar, and 700 calories later, just with my granola bar intake, I realized something's not working here. So I think that was basically my reason for my change of my lifestyle, was just to overall, just get in shape and feel better. And the Get in Shape for Women program has been truly amazing. I tell all my friends, my colleagues about it. I can't say enough about it.
Awesome. Take us back to when you first joined and talk about that initial experience. What was it like coming in? And this would maybe you could gear your response towards people that are potentially considering coming in. What was it like, taking that step and saying, all right, I got to do something about this, and going through that initial experience?
Mm-hmm. Well, to be honest, I was nervous. I hadn't worked out in 16, 17 years. I was nervous. But once I walked into the studio, I was greeted extremely warmly. The trainers are wonderful, extremely professional, and they just eased my worries and my self-consciousness right away. Working within a studio of just women alleviated that, and you come into a customized plan. They listen to what your concerns are, the trainers, and then they provide wonderful advice as to how to improve upon areas that you're concerned about or areas that they think you might benefit from. But overall, I was nervous initially, but after my first couple of sessions, I definitely felt myself gaining confidence within the program. But it's great.
Good. Awesome. So the next question I want to ask is, I obviously spend a lot of time on these 4 components, but if you could give some of your own, you've hit on like the importance of it and the importance of nutrition and realizing, when did it click for you that it was the sum of all parts and not just, whether it's not just workouts or not just weight training or not just nutrition, when did it click for you, in terms of your weight loss transformation story?
For me, I think because I've waited so long, I hadn't worked out in almost 2 decades, I think it was pretty immediate. I'd say within my second week of working out, I couldn't wait to come back for my next session. I had my bags packed, I had my sneakers in my bag ready to go. I think it was within the second week. Like you said, the trainers were great. They would give you a sheet of paper. You document what your nutrition was. So I took it very seriously, and I think I was at a point where I'm not getting any younger, and this is something I need to do, not just for me, but for my family, my husband, my children, and my entire family benefited from it immediately because I started making better food choices at the supermarket. It was very quick. And I take it very seriously. I think emotionally I was just ready to do it. So, and I think with the training, the support staff there, I was very open with them, and they were very receptive, and they just provided the professional and the knowledge and the guidance for me right away. So
That's fantastic.
It was pretty immediate.
Good. We hear that often, especially in our clients that have been successful, is that they're ready. They're ready to undertake the challenge of changing their lifestyle. That's what it takes, and that's where a lot of the change happens is in the nutrition initially, and then getting into that consistent workouts. So, you know, your story is fantastic. You were committed immediately. You made those changes. What about any roadblocks? Did you hit any patches along the way where you didn't see the weight loss that you expected or thought you were, or it didn't come off as quickly?
I think the most gain I saw was within the first 6 months, and then I think when I work within the school systems, and I think when my structure for the summer months, when my professional work had died down a little bit, I think that's where I started to fall off a little bit. I wasn't as diligent with my nutrition. I'd say, oh, and then I noticed immediately that, well, this isn't working. So I think when my structure is more lax, that's when I'm a little more wiggling. But when I'm structured, if I adhere to those appointments, making an appointment within the book here in the studio, the accountability piece, knowing that you're weighing in on the day of the week that you know you're going to weigh in for, you have an aim line to shoot for. So, but I think my struggle would be just when I'm losing that structure within my week, or if there's a birthday party or cookouts in the summer. Those types of things were a little more challenging, I think, as anyone would feel.
Absolutely, and that's a challenge for all of us. And I think the key to this experience for you is learning from that, and just being able to recognize that situation. So, you know, and I'm sure your trainers have worked with you on this already, is that's typically what we'll do with our clients is, all right, let's work on some strategies now so that next summer you're not going into a blind and all of a sudden you realize, like, well, that was a bad summer.
Right.
I better get back on it. There's a way to still enjoy those cookouts and different you know, events and moments of summertime and still stay on track. And that's the cool part that I think about the model too, is that we're always going to be there, and that's the job of the trainers, to continually help our clients get through some of those roadblocks.
I think too, going back to my first couple of weeks, I was immediately impressed by the whole experience. I will say adhering to the diet was a shock to my system, so my body was struggling a little bit, but I did stick to it. It was a little bit of a challenge, but after 3 months of adhering to the nutrition plan, now I found that I don't want to eat those cookies. I would walk right by a bag of chips, whereas years ago that would be my go-to. So I'm finding that I don't even make those choices anymore. So it doesn't even bother me. Whereas I think the first couple of weeks that might have been a little bit of a roadblock, but I think it was just my body was in shock mode.
You're retraining your whole system,
right?
In terms of how you fuel your body, and it's absolutely that's the cool part that happens, is you train your body to enjoy real food, and the taste of real food, and you get to experiment with different, you know, spices and herbs and things like that, instead of just you know, unhealthy artificial sweeteners and additives and all that other junk.
Right.
One last question.
Sure.
And then obviously if you wanted to add anything else in, you could.
Okay.
Any advice that we haven't talked about yet? You've given a lot of great comments. Any advice that you would give to any of the women, the current clients out there that are potentially listening right now, in terms of, and they're in their transformation journey at some point? What's like top 1 or 2 things that you would tell someone that would come to you and say, hey, how did you do it? What was the key to your success?
The key to my success would be definitely the nutritional aspect, adhering to that, and adhering really to the 4 components: the accountability to making my scheduled appointments, and adhering to the high intensity cardio. I think if you go to any gym, you can get on an elliptical or a treadmill and you can just plug along at your own pace. But at Get in Shape for Women, there is someone there cheering you on and encouraging you to, let's kick it up a notch. And I think that's a big difference, is the accountability, whether it be from the trainers or just my overall, awareness. I think my increased awareness on just knowing that I have a goal in mind. And
Right.
the small group training is wonderful as well. The small group coaching from the trainers.
Good.
I just think you just can't get that in other places.
Yeah, well, I would agree with you. Thanks for sharing that, Mary.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. You've done a fantastic job. You look great, and keep up the great work.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So if there are any questions on any of this material, we'd be happy to take them. Let's do a quick recap before we wrap up the webinar here today. So the key to transformation is the sum of all parts, all 4 steps. Mary just reinforced this. It's coming in and opening yourself up to allow a trainer to push you. No, you're never going to work as hard on your own compared to working with a trainer. A trainer is always going to push you harder than you can yourself. That's an important thing to realize and recognize, and that's one of the things that makes us and our model really valuable to our client base. We're there every day providing great coaching for weight training and cardio, and especially pushing those women on the cardio. That's really important. Nutrition, this is where it has to start, and it will continue. If you get your clients off to the right start, convincing them to jump on this nutrition blueprint and follow it and do it, and they stay with it. For Mary, she just said it was 3 weeks, consistently doing it for 3 weeks, and that's where she had some of her early challenges, but she stuck with it. Of course, she had the help and guidance and push from her trainers and her managers. That's where we can see a huge change. And once you get that momentum going for your clients, then they become this unstoppable force. Then they want more. They want more knowledge. They want more workouts. They want harder workouts. They want to ask you about this, and this. Because once you get into this and you see the physical changes and you start to feel the physical changes, it's an awesome feeling. And that's where the accountability piece comes in, and where you can really make a difference in these women's lives is not allowing them to skip out on a weigh-in session. Weigh-ins, everyone weighs in. Come on, ladies, it's weigh-in time, and hopefully everyone looks at that in a positive light. Every once in a while someone has a bad week and they don't want to weigh in, but this is where the coaching comes in, and this is why it's important to make them weigh in. It's a part of the program. Let's see where you're at. We'll talk about what happened last week. You tell me in your own words, what happened last week? Guaranteed, typically 99% of the time, the client knows exactly what they did last week to make them have a bad week, if they do have a bad week. And then it's, all right, let's talk about what we can do to have a better week this week. What are we going to fix? What are we going to tweak? What are we going to do a better job of? And that's how we continually help all of our clients in our studios. So a question came in, is it common that there's only one person at the facility, a trainer? It can be, it depends. We always have one trainer on the floor at all times, and that one trainer, for most of the time, they're working with the ladies in the weight training, and then their job is to coach cardio, to tell the ladies when it's interval time, when it's time to push themselves. All right, ladies, let's go, 60 seconds, pick it up. so those ladies know that they're not being ignored, that there's, like Mary said, you can go do cardio anytime you want at a gym, and no one's going to tell you to push yourself and to work hard. That's why we're there. But usually there's an owner or manager there at different times too to handle other operational sides of the business, the sales piece and the general operations. But the trainer, usually in our studios, there's only one trainer there at a time. All right. All right, question about the weight training piece. I'm just reading through it right now. I love this program, and I'm always challenged by the workouts. My main question is use of exercises that place high impact on the joints. Part of, and then she goes on to ask some other specifics. So I'll address it this way. We have a workout of the week, and we try to do our best to enforce each studio following the workout of the week. And the exercises we pick out are during the weight training component are meant to have the most efficient, effective workouts, meaning this is going to burn the most calories and build the most muscle, while also putting our clients in the least risk possible of having an injury. So those exercises that you mentioned are not ones that we include in our workout of the week. So if you want to follow with me separately, or I'd be happy to follow up with those studios and make sure that they're following the workout of the week, because the last thing we want to do is to put any of our clients at potential risk of any injury. All right, so those are some great questions. I appreciate everyone being on the webinar today. If you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to your local studio. If owners or managers or trainers are on the call, obviously myself or Dave, we're available if you have any questions about transformation. If you're a client or if you're a potential client, definitely recommend you reach out to your manager, your owner and your manager, or your trainers, and talk more. Ask them about wherever you're potentially struggling with, and I'd be happy to. I know they'll be happy to continue to help you along your transformation journey. So thank you again to Mary for being on this call. We really appreciate it. It's a fantastic story, one of hundreds across the franchise that are seeing great transformation, and we'll continue to hear more. So look out for our next webinar coming up next month. Thanks a lot.